Stereotypes. We may face stereotypes in our daily life. However, most of the times, stereotypes have a highly negative connotation. Not to say that they aren't negative, because most of the time there are social obstacles that stop us from reaching our full potential. Let me start with a simple story. When I was growing up, my Asian friends were the typical Asian stereotypes: good at math, humble and polite, and keeping to the guidelines, and essentially a normal in the eyes of my classmates. In math class, my friends were always solving extra work, separated from the others, and received comments such as, "It's because they're Korean." This hurt me because not only did I get along well with them and have the same ethnicity as them, but I felt like I was letting myself down and all the expectations that were put on me as an Asian.
People who don't live up to positive stereotypes often feel like failures. But even if the people who do live up to positive stereotypes can't win, because when they fulfill a positive stereotype, they might not get credit to the effort they put in as their friends in the story. The success is most likely to solidify the stereotype in people's minds, leaving less room for them to think of you as your own person and lose your individuality. It is frustrating to realize that someone views you as just as a member of a group and not as an individual. This is one of the effects of microaggression. The subconscious discrimination involved in our daily lives are the straws that breaks minorities' backs. The most detrimental forms of microaggressions are usually delivered by well-intentioned individuals who are unaware that they have engaged in harmful conduct towards a socially devalued group. These everyday occurrences may, on the surface, appear quite harmless, trivial, or be described as small slights, but research indicates that they have a powerful impact upon one's relationship with others and psychological adjustments. Connecting to the statement above, discrimination and stereotyping of Asian students are linked to their lower valuing of school, lower self-esteem, and higher depressive symptoms. It is a threat to Asian students' academic experience and can disguise students' educational and mental health needs, as they always need to meet the expectations of a smart, overachieving student.
But no need to feel guilty, as everyone commits microaggressions. We have all done or said something that we might not have intended to offend someone, but somehow still ended up doing so. Sometimes we are aware of our actions, and other times it takes another person to point them out to you. If we were completely unaware of something that we said or did that was hurtful to someone, then there really isn't anything that we can do. However, when we are even slightly aware that we might have committed a microaggression, or if we are confronted about it, there are several things that we can do. There may be moments when you think that you might have committed a microaggression. Have you ever said or done something in which an individual winced or clearly reacted negatively? When someone's behavior is noticeable, we might be able to detect that something we might have said or did may have caused it. And if you are able to detect the potential cause, own up to it. We need to admit when we commit microaggressions, learn from the wrongdoing, and apologize. We all make mistakes, consciously or not, and need to own up to them when we do. For moments in which someone confronts you on your behavior, listen to what he or she is trying to tell you and try not to be defensive. The worst thing that we can do is to deny that someone is hurt or offended by something that we said or did. In fact, invalidating their experience could be considered a microaggression in itself. So admit to the wrongdoing and genuinely apologize.
Furthermore, there are things that we can do to avoid microaggressions altogether. First, be aware of the language that you can use. Common phrases we use can often go under the radar because people do not realize that the language is actually insulting. If something is weird, say it's weird. Be aware of other subtle messages. Also, education about microaggression is extremely important. The more people are aware of the term and concept, the less likely they will be defensive when confronted about their behaviors. If we teach kids about diversity and equality from a very early age, we have the power to transform them into open-minded adults. Let us teach our kids not to be afraid, but be rather to respect others. And if we follow these guidelines, we will all be able to avoid microaggressions in our daily lives. Thank you.